Welcome to our corner where we talk about the Streets of Avalon role-playing game. I'm Chris.
And I'm Brett.
And today we're talking about the Griffons and their role in law enforcement, or the lack thereof of law enforcement, in the city of Avalon. So, Brett, what are the Griffons, aside from law enforcement, and what role do they play on the streets of Avalon?
Ostensibly, what the Griffons are supposed to do is they are the street version of the law and order for Avalon, right? Every neighborhood has, or region has their own little chunk of them where they beat the streets, make sure everybody's behaving, doing all the right stuff, arrest the criminals, make sure that they're arraigned before the proper local judiciary as, arms of the magistrates, assess fines, run the prisons, and so forth. As we talked about previously, though, the magistrates are in a state of utter higgledy-piggledy right now. There's only 12. There should be 13. It's turned into more of a gangland type of mob, as in organized crime mob, trying to figure out who's running and who's doing what. And what that's left the Griffons to do is the best they can where they're at. So what the hell does that mean? So if you look at the noble vultures, which is what they're often called, the Griffons in the north side, these groups walk around. They've got breastplates. They have clean tabards with beautiful griffins on them, and they enact the will of the nobles. That will of the nobles is most likely not the same laws that are down by the seabirds, down the dock board, or even by the crows or anybody else. It's just different. Your neighborhood, wherever you happen to be, unless you're there, it's a little bit different.
Crows being the west and the east side of the city.
Yes, Crows the west and east side, correct.
And in reality, you could create your own little cadres of Griffons if you wanted to in these little spots.
100%. So what's happening is the Griffons operate usually in a 4 to 5 person squad. They've got a sergeant, maybe a lieutenant, underlings. The cliche is they're corrupt. You can bribe them. They're a bunch of meatheads that don't listen, and so on and so forth. Yeah, that is true to some extent in some groups of them. But generally speaking, the Griffons live in the neighborhood you live in. They're there. They're from that neighborhood. They grew up there. Some of them are doing the best they can with little to no help or support. Some of them get some help support, right? Or they're doing the best they can to, patrol the streets at night, 4 people alone, when they know for a fact that there's thieves and assassins out behind every dark corner.
Brutal,
they might
right?
they might not go down every dark corner. Might be a little nervous about that. Do we really want to wander the docks where the lamps aren't lit this evening because there's a problem? Probably. You know what? Let's check the inn. Let's check the tavern first. Let's go there first and have a few, stir up our courage, so to say, so we can get back out there.
That response time is real low, or not at all.
Yes. Some shopkeepers, people with the small bazaars, little push carts, and even people with facades that they open up the doors, have their shops out front. Many shopkeepers have a bell that they can ring, calling for the watch, calling for the guard. Sometimes that works if they're within call. The alleyways, the streets are very twisty and windy, and it's difficult to get to. You've got the Thieves' Highway. Not effectively, it literally is a pathways that intertwined itself from rooftop to rooftop across 90% of the city. They've got all of that to patrol. Plus, when the Brotherhood of Sanitary Excavators comes up to them and says, hey, I think we might have some weird kobold, dogmen, goblin things that ate Charlie. Could you go see what's going on down there? They've got to deal with that too.
Hey, do you want a quick aside on the kobold dog person thing?
Yeah.
So I found out that the kobold dog person thing, because it came from Japanese role-playing games, because D&D, when it got translated over there, it got translated incorrectly.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's why that's why in a lot of anime and things like that, you see the dog versions of kobolds. It's pretty funny.
Oh, okay, awesome.
There's my aside cool. for kobolds. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So what I like to do with my Griffons is they can be easily bribed. Well, quite frankly, if the conditions they work in, poor support, very tough neighborhoods, they're dealing with thieves, criminals, bad folks. They're also dealing with people who really need stuff, just like they do. They live here. Sometimes they play favorites. They're like, look, the baker, she makes extra sticky buns for us. We stop by, we get the sticky buns from her, and we make sure that her and her boyfriend, the guy who runs the rope making guild over there, nobody fucks with them. They do nice things for us. We spread our love where we receive love. That's what we're doing. That blacksmith, Old Hickory, he's an asshole. We tried to help him. All he did was cuss and swear, and he threw a hammer at me. Well, the hell with that guy. Fuck him. I'm not helping him. there is Griffins that are, they, as I said, they grew up here and they remember that this person was mean to their grandmother. They're not that
Ooh.
nice to you. They remember this person was awesome to their grandfather. When grandma died and he was a widower and could barely make rent and couldn't do anything, he remembers when the tavern keeper put him up in his attic space and made sure he was fed and well taken care of. Old Otto, that guy's a stand-up guy. We'll do anything for old Otto. As we've talked about before, it's noir. Part of noir is everybody's got a story. There's a tale. There's a tale behind the people.
See, that's where I was getting at with what you were saying, is that the Griffins are just people, right?
Exactly.
They're just people.
They're just folks. You've got good folks, bad folks, and so forth. It is very common for people to say, just carry some copper, a couple silver. You usually bribe your way past them. The fact is, if you're up to kind of no good, they look at you and they're like, really, Quinn? Yeah, man, I just, I think I might have left my keys in this abandoned warehouse. Really, Quinn? Look, here, I think I left some silver. All right, just get it. All right, whatever. Be gone when we're back. You got an hour. And they leave. It's not a big deal. It's an abandoned warehouse. Whatever. Quinn knows what he's doing. If he gets in trouble, he gets in trouble. He'll figure it out. The thieves want to kill each other in an alleyway? Good on them. They really want to do that? That's fine. Thieves go have a problem with somebody else. They might have to deal with it. The other thing that the Griffins often do when I run campaigns is that it's, like I said, common to paint them with a brush of they're all corrupt. There's levels, right? Because as you said, they're just people.
Mm-hmm.
But the Griffins are oftentimes the people that find your group. When your group is doing well and their reputation's gone up in the neighborhood and they come up to you and say, hey, I need some paperwork done. I can't read. You're that wizard person, aren't you? Can you help me read this and like get this signed up? Because I'm trying to do right by mom. Huh. Okay. Or they're coming to you saying, we've got a problem. We can't solve it. The excavators called us up and they've got these goblin troll monsters who are riding giant rats. I don't know what that means. And quite frankly, with these young recruits, they're terrified to go down there. And I'm 60. I'm not going down there, guys.
I love that. Just the idea, like, I got these goblin troll monsters riding giant rats, and I have no idea what that means. Like, exactly. Can you go look into that for me? I'm old man.
Exactly.
I've outlived my usefulness. I'm gonna retire next week. I ain't going down there.
When somebody needs to be arrested for their own safety, which happens sometimes, like, oh my God, throat kicker Tom is drunk again. Grab throat kicker, stick him in jail. You got to hold him down for a bit, right? That needs to get done. Sometimes it's a matter of, look, we'll run interference for you. Absolutely. Why? Well, you're a thief. We're thieves. Why would you run interference for us? Because we don't like hacker anyway. You give us 5 silver. We didn't walk down the street tonight, man. Go take out hacker. Screw that guy. Not only that,
but when they blow the alarm whistles, we won't come, and we'll make sure the people next door won't come either.
Exactly. But when the excrement hits the fan, they're there. When I'm talking about that, I'm talking about there's a fire. There is a serious problem. They show up. They may not be the best at it because God's help them if they've ever been trained. A lot of them, it's loud threats, occasional physical violence, and roughing up just to clear the crowds. They know that a mob of people is bad. Lynchings occur. Things get burned. People get stabbed. Theft occurs. There's too many. Whoa. Clear the alleyway here. That's it. Move along. Nothing to see here. There's a dead body. Yeah, I know. We'll take care of it. Sure you will, Thomas. Whatever. Move on. That's oftentimes when they look around, they see the characters and like, thank God. Samuel, get in here. Terry, can you help us? We got nothing. I don't even know what to do with this. This is a third one. Yeah. They know stuff. These guys talk to everybody. They are the boots on the ground beat cops working a nasty beat. Know a lot of stuff, have a lot of friends. Got a lot of people probably don't like them too much. And yeah, they'll take some coin, but what else are you going to do?
So I got some questions now. So
Go for it.
We got the boots on the ground Griffins that are in your neighborhood. Who's above them? Like, how do they get those jobs? Like, how are they organized beyond that?
So above that, the magistrates own the military, right? So the magistrates have the army, Avalon Standing Army.
Yeah, but nobody really knows a lot about them, right? They mostly exist outside the city?
Correct. Mostly outside the city. They're at the gates, the north gate, east and west. Occasionally, you might see them on a magistrate-sponsored ship of some sort patrolling the harbor, but not often. The Griffins have gained their authority by dint of the fact that that's been their job forever. You replace yourself in many neighborhoods. When old man Grist gets too old and he's like, son, do you want to do this job? And the boy turns him down because he wants to be a baker. And he looks at his daughter and goes, Sally? And she's like, I'll do it. Great. You're in. Let's train her up and get her out there. Who do they answer to? Now, a lot of neighborhoods used to have, especially the larger ones, would have a local representative of a magistrate. They would be judges. They would listen to basically courts. They listen to cases, try to help people figure things out and so forth. A lot of the edicts, reports, and so forth come down to two main churches that enforce or support: the Church of Hermes, the bank, and the Church of Odin. Both of these are tied directly to very powerful magistrate families, and they help provide funding and support for the different neighborhoods that need it.
Dude, man, I can't wait till we talk about religion, because it's like, what is Hermes and Odin doing in the same pantheon? Right,
or Shanghai Shen or Kali.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
So a lot of times, though, these Griffins, they draw their salary. They go to every neighborhood. Every neighborhood has some variation of a Church of Hermes. There is a local church/bank. Every neighborhood's got one. Some are bigger than others. Some are pretty small. That is where the Griffins draw pay. And many times, their records are kept there. When an old hacker can't do it and he pulls in Mary because she's going to cover, or they grab this other person, or this he, she, they, whomever comes in, they've got to go in there, fill out all the paperwork, do the thing. They swore the oath, I'm sure. Moving on. Here's the stuff. Here you go. Here's your pike. Here's your regulation dagger. Here's your rusty chainmail and a hat. Oh, and a tabard. Might want to clean it up. Get out there. Patrol the streets. Do good. Keep people safe. The pay isn't the best, but it's constant. You are always paid. The Church of Hermes makes sure everybody's paid. All the Griffins get paid. They get paid dick, but they get paid. And because of that, it is a solid job. Not everybody can get along very well, right? So most neighborhoods only handle so many people before someone's encroaching in on my racket, so to say. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I like to do with the Griffins is, we could talk about this another time, but I have the White Griffins. The White Griffins are a subgroup of the Griffins. They're some of the oldest members. When I talk about oldest, they got their name White Griffins because most of the men and women there are gray-haired folk. The White Griffins operate directly for certain magistrates, and they provide direct conflict resolution with certain things.
Okay.
The White Griffins are the ones that, if you're connected to them, they've got maps that will lead you down to Thorbrandor to go find this one thing that they need for a reason. They're the ones that tell you about this. There's an undead problem. There's a bunch of ghouls over here under this family's crypt. We really need that taken care of.
So they're the more informed, better paid, more trained Griffins.
This is the Secret Service.
Okay.
They know all sorts of stuff.
Like the FBI. They're like the alphabet secrets.
Yes.
They're like
this is the alphabet soup. Yeah, this is the alphabet Griffins,
soup
right?
Griffins. Okay.
Yes. They know the stuff and they're involved. Who is paying them? How they're getting paid? They're always trying to do the best possible thing, and they deal with serious threats. A thieves guild acting up, they do not care. They care about the necromancer who got expelled from the Order of the Eye, who was last seen at a certain graveyard where the Lichet was killed. Yeah, that's a problem.
That is a problem.
They're going to want to look into that. They're interested in the peace and well-being. When somebody wants to go poke around in the Forbidden section of the city, little box within a box, White Griffins are going to want to know who you are and why you'd want to be in there.
Interesting.
Because they know what's in there. That means they know why you're not supposed to be there.
That means they're probably like friends with like rather important people in like the Lichet that are like taking care of these things, and some of like the higher end merchants or security forces in the city that are privatized, and they probably have a lot of connections, and they probably have a bit more in the way of resources too.
One of the other things that happens is you'll have groups that will be when you run in a noir type of game, it's very common to have, I want to be a pit fighter, or I want to be a thief, or whatever it is. Right now, the Avalon game, I'm running my one of my players, Aiden. His character is a pinch hitting Griffin. He's like, I'm an ex Griffin. I don't want to do that anymore, but the money's good. So when someone calls in sick, they get a hold of him, and he covers his shift. So he's well known by the Griffins. He's got an edge. He knows these men and women. When he needs a hand, he can call on them. It's helped them a few different times.
Yeah, I had a in my last game that I was running for a long period of time. I had one of the characters he was trying to become a successful pit fighter, but he was a former Griffin, and that he got drawn back into the Griffins by a friend of his. So he was working as a Griffin while he was doing this other stuff because it was the favor that he had to give in order to get the help that he needed.
And when you think about a neighborhood and your characters are from there, they want to do the best they can, or maybe the worst they can, right? So if you're running a game and people are like, look, we're going to be a bunch of evil SOBs, maybe more corrupt is what you need. Maybe that's a plot that you're trying to work into. Maybe you're like, look, we want to wring this out. I want to make sure that we replace the current Griffins with people we know and trust. Shit, maybe that's us. Maybe we got to run the Griffins. Maybe we need to do this because,
so we can become our own protection racket in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No. It won't be a racket. It'll be all good. We'll do it right. We'll do it right.
Right. Whatever.
Wait. Pouch of Silver landed and said, hey, don't go by Mary's tonight. Oh, well, I guess we'll go by Mary's tonight.
We'll be better than everybody else now.
Yeah. So a lot of, again, when I ran a lot of vampires, I've said a few times, people need contacts. And when your players need to know people, your thieves know people. I've had players with my brother is a Griffin. My ex-wife is a Griffin. My ex-husband's a Griffin. My ex-lover's a Griffin. I pay this one Griffin off all the time. There's a relationship there. And sometimes it's like, look, we're best friends. I'm a thief and he's that. We have just agreed to meet. We play cards.
Mm-hmm.
We drink our drinks. We talk about family and we go home. We're best friends. We just look the other way, you know.
So let me see if I can't sum this up a little bit. So the Griffins are essentially, they're like the neighborhood sheriff and the deputies.
Yes.
Because they're sort of self-appointed or like appointed by, I don't know, nepotism is the wrong word because sometimes it's that, but it's really just, you know, I guess it is nepotism. You know a person, maybe that's family based, but you know what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. Like you seem like you'd be good at this job and you're my friend and I think I'm getting too old for this, or you're my kid's friend or whatever. Like why don't you all become the next set of Griffins, which means you could, you know, have a game where your crew is a bunch of Griffins.
You absolutely can. Absolutely. And it's another group of people that when you need to talk to someone and you need information about what's happening, they're walking the beat, man.
Yeah, they know people, at least in the neighborhood.
They know people. They know what's going on. When you talk about, they might ask for a little something because they're, you know, they have a hard time remembering without a fresh glass of ale in front of them. So but they know a lot of stuff you probably need to know.
Yeah. So here's my question. The magistrates, they can do a thing where they will conscript more Griffins in a short amount of time.
Absolutely.
How does that happen? Is it like a volunteer militia? Or do they have people on a roster? Or do they just like come out and like just recruit everybody en masse in a giant recruiting binge?
So when the magistrates need to do that type of thing, what usually happens is then the lesser sons and daughters within the family, it becomes a job.
Oh, they have to go and do it?
Yeah, these magistrates are big. They own guilds.
Yeah.
And guilds are of massive families. They dig into their coffer of people. These magistrates aren't just rich people with their own bastard kids that they could just say, oh my God, he's the 17th son from my third mistress. Send him off.
Well, I mean, we'll have like the seventh cousin twice removed or whatever, right?
Exactly. They've got people who are like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We've got a problem. We need to solve it.
Might not even have the same last name.
Correct. And again, you have, if they own 1, 2, 3 guilds, they're leading a church, assign some lower ranking folks, give them a badge, a tabard, and a regulation hat. Off you go.
I totally get it. Like just from, if you're wondering about the giant family thing, folks out there that are listening, just like my wife, both sides of her family have like well over 100 like members of their family that are like from the grandparents because of the kids that were born and their kids that had kids and their kids that had kids. Like we're like 4 generations down now. There's on both sides. It's like over 100 people.
Yeah, you go to my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is like one of the middle of 15, and many of them had many.
Yeah,
there's a lot. There's a lot of them.
My family's not quite like that, but her family is. So,
well, you take that and you think about it. There is a family, a large, powerful family that owns all these businesses and such, and they're like, look, there's a risk. There's a risk to our trade. There's a risk to this piece, a risk to that piece. Oh my God, the Church of Odin is in dire straits right now. Fine, that's it. Rank up a bunch of folks, slap badges on them, get them down to that neighborhood. We need some law and order back where it needs to be. Great. They may trickle in, trickle out. They may get moved somewhere else. It's
They
they've
might
always
go
got
down there and appoint some other people so they can get out of there.
they've got people. They have lots of people power to throw at problems when they need it.
Well, that's cool. That's good to know. Do I have anything else about these Griffons? I think I have one more thing. Like if you're in a neighborhood and you're Griffons and you need help, what do you do?
If the Griffins need help,
Yeah, can you go to the next neighborhood over and get some help from them?
you can. Griffins can tag in other Griffins if necessary. If you're like, look, we have a big problem here. Fire is a big one. Like if there's a big fire, people will come. If they could see it, they will show up.
I mean,
right?
it's fire in Avalon.
That's massive.
It's like a fire from back in London. Like the whole place will burn down unless you put it out. Right?
Peshtigo fire, Great Chicago fire, the multi-fires in London. Not good.
Just too much. Too many buildings too close together.
Correct. The other thing that can happen is religious riots. When the Church of Poseidon decides to have a fit with the bargemen, you need help. You need a lot of help. You need people to come and crack down and draw the line.
I have not like explored that idea in a game yet of like having a riot occur, because that should be a thing that happens in this city.
Oh yeah, I had bargemen and the Church of Poseidon. They were up in arms. They had a Kuatoa problem. They each thought it was each other. It was fun. The other thing that happens though in the neighborhood is one of the reasons why the Griffins go everywhere. They know everybody. They know the taverns. They know who's who, and they keep tabs on who's doing well, what you're supposed to be up to. When you have that reputation, they're going to look at the characters. I want to make this a character driven. I want you involved, right? Yeah. So they can do certain things, but depending on the nature of the problem, if it's a riot, if it's a fire, if there's a church problem, if there is a big guild argument, you've got Jets and Sharks, whatever's going on, they're going to bring in they're going to roll in some extra Griffins, try their best to help. When they have a murder they can't fix, when they got a high profile problem and it's outside their skill set, they're looking at the people in the neighborhood because they live here. They know who's got what powers and skills and abilities, or rumors of power, skills, and abilities. They may well approach your characters in the middle of the night saying, look, I don't like what you do. I'm pretty sure you guys are responsible for the last 5 thefts. However, we need this. If you do this for us, we'll forget that you did those things.
That's the thing that I wanted to touch on. So like when you're like a lower level character in this game, like this game assumes you'll session zero it up and like talk about who you are and what your role is in the neighborhood and things like that, and what you plan on this campaign being kind of about. But in those early stages, like maybe the Griffins don't trust you because they don't think you've done enough yet, right? But after like you've done a few things, then that means the attitude from them towards you can change over time based on your reputation and the things that you've done. Now, I mean, I don't have, there's no mechanics for reputation. At least I don't really have them.
Well, we talked about this a little bit in GM tools. We talked about the frameworks, the clocks. There's things in there when we talk about if you do X, people like you.
Yeah, I mean, you could just feel that out. Like, I don't have a specific thing. Like, if you've done, like, you can just put a little tag. If you're game master,
exactly.
Put a mark down. Have they done good? Yes. Have they done bad? Yes. Who do they annoy? Like, that is like you keep a campaign tracker of those kind of little notes for yourself, so that
without actually using tags in an official form. When I've run with other game systems, I have made notes or told players, write this down. You have, in DD terms, you would have, at 5e anyway, you have advantage when dealing with Griffins because they think you're awesome.
Oh, yeah.
You have disadvantage because you suck. In our game, I would say, you have a tag, Griffins love me.
Yep.
I have a tag, Griffins hate me, or some variation on that. It could last a very long time, be incredibly sticky, until you do something stupid or something even better, or something to wipe that clean. I've got a tag. I slap it on your character like, hey.
Makes sense.
We're the guys. We're good.
And that tag can evolve over time, too. It could be like, the Griffins don't, the Griffins think you're okay. The Griffins trust you. The Griffins come to you for all the problems. Like
that. They look up to you. They're like, I don't know what to do. If it weren't for you, we would just be chickens with our heads cut off. Thank God you're here.
Didn't even think about that with the tag system. I should have. Like, the bad meme sitting here.
Yeah. Hey, it's all right. It's out there, man. Because when you think about it, you're like, what am I supposed to do with it? And I think we have the tools to, again, I don't have to build a micro anything for it. I use the tool we already have, slap it on there, and you're set.
Yeah, so that's the Griffins. That was really good. I really enjoyed that conversation.
Thanks, man. That's fun.
Thank you for listening to Under the Lamplight, the Streets of Avalon role-playing game podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe on YouTube. You can pick up the playtest version of the game, which I've done my best to give a slightly nicer layout with some art at polygamero.us. The link is below. And we'll see you under the lamplight next week.